When Harper's mother first mentioned the old summer house in Hollow Pine, it sounded more like a punishment than a vacation. Nestled deep in the woods of northern Vermont, the house hadn't been lived in for over 20 years. Harper imagined it like one of those old fairy tale cottages, dusty, quiet, and full of secrets. "I need some time away from the city," her mother had said, rubbing the bridge of her nose. "Just you, me, and some clean air. We'll fix it up together. It'll be good." Good. That word felt too hopeful. The road narrowed into a tunnel of pines, the sun filtering through in pale gold shafts. Mist licked across the windshield as they drove. Harper watched as the GPS signal vanished. Finally, at the end of a winding gravel path, the house emerged. It was tall, hunched, and shrouded in shadows cast by the trees. 3 stories, faded green siding, and sagging eaves. Moss crept up its sides like moldy veins. A narrow porch with broken steps waited like a jaw about to open. Inside, the air smelled like wet newspaper and soil. Harper's boots crunched on fallen plaster. Every room was full of things left behind: children's toys, faded curtains, photo frames with faces turned inward. It felt like someone had stood up mid-meal and never returned. But what caught Harper's attention was the hallway upstairs. It was unusually long for such a house, the wallpaper yellowed and curling. Along the baseboards, someone had installed a series of glowing nightlights. 12 in all, spaced perfectly apart. Each one shaped like a different animal: a bear, a fox, a rabbit, an owl. At the very end, the 12th was a cat. Next to it, an empty socket. A dangling cord. The missing 13th. Harper stared at it. Something about the spacing, the symmetry, it made the absence feel deliberate. "Don't mess with those," her mom called from downstairs. "They're probably ancient." Harper didn't reply. She was too busy watching the 12th nightlight flicker. Only for a second. A single, fluttering blink. But she could have sworn she heard whispering when it did. The next few days passed in a kind of sluggish haze. Harper's mom busied herself cleaning out the main floor, scrubbing mold from corners and throwing away anything soft enough to rot. Harper was assigned the 3rd floor, where the roof dipped low and old toys sat like sleeping animals in the corners. That's where she found the 13th nightlight. It was in the back of a closet in a child's bedroom, dusty, shaped like a little deer. Its cord was frayed, but when she plugged it into an outlet nearby, it sparked and lit up, glowing with a soft blue light. A sudden coldness pressed against her spine. Harper stood still for a moment, waiting for the sensation to pass. Then she unplugged it and carried it downstairs. "I found the missing nightlight," she told her mom at dinner. "What?" "Upstairs. It was in a closet." Her mom frowned. "There are nightlights? 12 of them. One socket was empty. This one fits." Her mom didn't answer. Just stirred her soup and muttered something under her breath. That night, Harper plugged the deer into the last socket. The moment it clicked in, all the other 12 flickered, once, as if in greeting. And something moved. Not in the hallway. Not in the house. Inside the walls. She pressed her ear against the wood. The sound was faint, like breath behind a closed door. Rhythmic. Careful. And it grew louder as the night wore on. The whispering returned on the 3rd night. This time, it wasn't coming from inside the walls. It came from the end of the hallway. Harper had just turned off the lights and was slipping into bed when she saw it, movement, soft and slow, in the corridor. The 13 nightlights glowed steadily. No flicker. No failure. But the darkness between them was shifting. She stared. And then came the whisper. "Don't let it go out." The voice was tiny, barely more than a breath. She scrambled out of bed and flipped the hallway light on. Empty. The night lights blinked off under the brighter bulbs, and the corridor looked utterly normal again. The next day, Harper asked her mom about the nightlights again. Did someone live here? Kids. Her mother hesitated. It belonged to your aunt. I don't have an aunt. You did. A long pause. She died here. A long time ago. I was just a child. Harper stared. Why didn't you tell me? Her mom's eyes filled with something cold and distant. Because I don't want to remember. She was sick. She talked to shadows. Slept with lights on all the time. My parents, they said it was imagination. But she swore something lived in the house. Something in the dark. That night, Harper didn't sleep. She sat up in bed, watching the hallway. The 13th nightlight blinked. And then, for the first time, it went out. Harper ran. The hallway stretched, impossibly long now. As if the darkness had swallowed time and bent the floorboards. The remaining 12 nightlights flickered like candle flames caught in wind. And at the far end, standing in the dark where the 13th should have been, was something wrong. She couldn't describe it. Only that it was tall. Too tall. And thin. Its face was hidden in the shadows, but she felt its gaze. It didn't move toward her. It waited. Watching. Waiting. She yanked the dear nightlight from the socket. It was cold, ice cold. Plugged it back in. The moment the prongs entered the outlet, there was a deep breath. Like the house itself exhaled. And the figure vanished. Morning came with rain. Harper tried to tell her mom, but she was busy on the phone, looking pale. There's something wrong with the power, she said. The circuits are surging. Harper didn't care. She was staring at her phone. Overnight, she'd taken a picture of the hallway. She didn't remember doing it. It was grainy, low light. But clearly visible in the center of the photo was the 13th nightlight. And standing behind it, a figure. The same shape. Same impossibly long limbs. In the photo, its head was tilted, as if listening. On the 6th night, the air was thick with silence. Harper counted the nightlights over and over. 12. The deer was missing again. This time, she found it beneath her bed. Covered in dirt. Unplugged. When she tried to insert it back into the socket, it sparked. Dead. From behind her came a soft noise. Not a whisper. Not a breath. A single, slow step. She turned. And saw her aunt. Or what remained of her. Her face was pale, lips blue, eyes wide with warning. Don't let it out, she whispered. It's part of the house now. It lives between the lights. If you break the chain, it walks freely. Harper tried to speak, but her voice caught in her throat. Behind her aunt, the hallway began to bend. Twist. The walls curled inward like ribs closing in on a heart. And the thing returned. It crawled this time, limbs jerking, bones cracking. The dear nightlight flickered. And then, with a sound like a shattering mirror. Darkness. The lights went out. All of them. Harper woke up in the hospital. Her mom sat beside her, face pale, eyes hollow. There was a fire, she said. Old wiring. They said we're lucky to be alive. Harper nodded, but her fingers were clenched around something under the blanket. The dear nightlight. Still warm. Still glowing. Only one of them remained. And every night since then, wherever she sleeps, she plugs it in. Because some nights, when she forgets, she hears footsteps. Counting 13.